Hi, I'm Kat, and today I'm showing you how to make this miniature Thanksgiving cornucopia. I hope you enjoy the video. But before we get started, I wanted to stop and, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has followed me and watched me, either friends or subscribers or people who are just dropping in for the first time. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for bearing with me and watching me for what's been almost a year on YouTube. And thank you again. On to the tutorial. So I'm starting with a small piece of scrap clay that I'm going to shape into a cone. And I went on ahead and curved the tip and opened up the inside with my ball tool. You want to flare that out as large as you want your cornucopia to be, but don't worry too much about making the inside pretty because it will be filled and stuffed with fruit and vegetables. Afterwards, you can bake it, and then I'm using this raffia that I used from some previous videos. And what I did with it is I cut the strip into thirds, and because they'll automatically start to splinter off a little bit, I just went on ahead and rolled them together, or twisted it so that it kind of held together a little bit better. And then glue one end of that twist to the top of your cornucopia and continue to twist it around. You can secure it with glue as you go, and that way you don't have to worry about something pulling up where you didn't intend for it to pull up. Once you have it entirely wrapped, you can glue it to secure it, and then cut off any excess raffia that you have sticking off the edges. Now for the apples and pears, I use translucent yellow and a little bit of beige clay. And then I rolled it into the pear shapes by just rolling one half between two fingers. And then I use my ball tool to indent the top and the bottom just slightly. You can do the same thing with the apples. And then, like with everything that has a yellow base, like an apple or a pear, I always roll it in the yellow chalk pastel first, and then choosing the colors I want to go with. If I want to make it green like the pears, then you'd also roll it in the green. But if you want to make it red like an apple, you can roll it in this reddish, yellowish, orangey color as well. That way you have a nice color variation to it. You can, of course, accentuate it with paint. I didn't show you doing this in this particular video because I cover that in detail in my Pinterest-inspired Halloween decoration video. And I will put the link to that particular video in the bottom of my description box as well. And then in this case, I used some stems that I used with the leftover clay from my grapevine, and then put those in with a little clear liquid Fimo. So to shape the bunches of grapes, I am just using a very thin snake of brown clay, and then just sticking all the various branches on in place. Now, your tools are going to stick to this, and you may wish to dust them with a little cornstarch in between. It makes it a lot easier, as you can see with this one. And then you can go on ahead, shape it the way you want, bake it, and then when it comes out, you can brush it with a little clear liquid Fimo on top, and then start adding on your grapes. So for the purple grapevine, I'm using translucent purple and red clay. And then I also made a separate batch with a little more red for color variation. And then for the green ones, I used translucent and green and yellow clay with a little more green in the second roll as well. Roll those into a snake and then cut off little pieces and individually apply them, maybe 3 per branch. Corn stalks are just the leftover pieces of the apple and pear clay, and I'm adding in a variety of different colors of yellows, reddish oranges, beiges, brownish blacks, and brownish purples. And of course, the many shades of yellow went into making just the regular pieces of corn. And for the Indian corn, I'm using various shades of brown and various shades of orange. Now you can cut these out and individually apply them, but in this case I decided to make small thin snakes and to put them on and then add in different colors of the other kernels as needed. So I added in a small strip of the purplish brown here, and then I put in a little yellow and a little piece of orange for the little different color kernels, and then I added in the remainder of the brownish purplish clay. Then the texture, I pushed a knife into the clay just slightly, and it will make a kernel shape that way, or at least a little tiny rectangle that looks like individual kernels. Once these have been fully done, you can bake them, and then add a little more raffia to the top. Of the Indian corn, you want to use the brown, and this is just the leftover that I used on the cornucopia. And then you can put everything together, and I'm using some pumpkins and gourds from another previous video as well. And the link for that project is also in the description box at the bottom. So make sure everything is glazed and you can put it together to form your own cornucopia. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.